The latest on Conor Gallagher, Manchester United's midfield target. Manchester United are keeping a close eye on Conor Gallagher's predicament over at Atletico Madrid should a January move become a viable option. The Red Devils are being linked with a growing list of potential targets as the January window fast approaches, though their interest in the former Chelsea man goes back to the summer. Towards the end of the summer window, after United had opted against pursuing a permanent deal for Carlos Baleba and were weighing up cheaper alternatives, they put in a loan offer for Gallagher, hoping to tempt him away from the Metropolitano. Atletico politely rebuffed the proposal, much as they had done only a few weeks prior when Crystal Palace had got in touch to sound out the possibility of bringing their former loony back to Selhurst Park. Unfortunately for the two English clubs, Atleti were only interested in sanctioning an outright sale, and either side could stump up the sort of cash the Spaniards would have been demanding, especially having only had him for a year at that point. However, with Gala still struggling for proper minutes under Diego Simeone, it has led to some serious chatter as to whether a mid-season loan might be the most sensible course of action for the player himself. He'll know full well that if he has any hope of forcing his way into the England squad for the World Cup next summer, given the fierce competition in the centre of the park, he simply must be playing week in week out. For context, the 25-year-old has only managed 2 starts in Atletico's opening 11 La Liga fixtures, clocking up a measly 328 minutes on the pitch in total. Bad news for Tottenham Hotspur ahead of hosting Manchester United. Manchester United are scheduled to play away against Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this Saturday in the 11th match week of the 2025-2026 Premier League season. This fixture is highly significant for both teams, who currently sit level on 17 points, placing Spurs in 6th position and United in 8th. Manchester United are ambitious to return to winning ways after a draw against Nottingham Forest, while Spurs are looking to rally after suffering 2 consecutive defeats, namely against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup and Chelsea in the Premier League. However, ahead of this crucial match, Spurs are afflicted by a massive injury setback, with the absence of James Maddison being the most significant loss. The team's creative engine and star player has sustained an anterior cruciate ligament, or ACL, injury in his right knee. This serious injury is expected to keep him sidelined until the second half of next year and potentially even until the end of the competitive season, leaving a considerable void in the Lai White's creative midfield. Maddison's unavailability is further aggravated by the absence of another key attacking midfielder. The Swedish player Dean Kulusevski is also unavailable due to a serious knee injury that requires further recovery. The team's coach stated that Kulusevski is still not out on the grass and the team is working hard to recover him as quickly as possible, confirming he will not be considered for selection in the near future. The list of midfield injuries is extended with the sidelining of key defensive midfielder Yves Bissouma. Bissouma suffered an ankle ligament injury while on international duty. Thomas Frank, the team's head coach, confirmed the injury and estimates the player will only return to action in December 2025. Bissouma's absence severely impacts Spurs' defensive midfield strength. In the defensive line, centre-back Roger Dragasini is still undergoing a lengthy recovery from his ACL injury. Although he has been fully integrated into the team's training sessions, he is not yet ready to be fielded in a competitive match. The coach explained that an ACL injury requires 9 months of recovery to build knee strength, and the team plans to play Drayan in a friendly match during the November international break to test his readiness. Up front, striker Dominic Solini is also absent due to an injury to his ankle or foot. The club is being extremely cautious with his recovery process to avoid any recurrence, and Hayes confirmed not to return before the international break. Meanwhile, the young player Lucas Berg must sit out due to a concussion sustained in the last match and is required to undergo mandatory recovery protocol until after the international break, which is a sensible decision by the medical team. Spurs' defensive unit also has issues with injuries affecting senior defender Ben Davies, who is out with a thigh muscle injury picked up while representing Wales, and young defender Archie Gray, who has a calf injury and is expected to be sidelined for approximately 1 month. Additionally, there are 2 players who are doubtful to play against United: Mohamed Kudus and Jed Spence. Both players picked up knocks and their condition will continue to be monitored ahead of kickoff. Rounding off a lengthy injury list, Japanese centre-back Kota Takai has a thigh problem. The coach mentioned that Takai will soon return to training.